I'm Brian McDermott, Community Chef, and I'm going to show you to add some value this time to your pork chop. Great value, great offer from your craft butcher is the pork chop. I'm using some streaky bacon and I have a fantastic dish of a mushroom, apple and an Irish whiskey sauce. Okay, so we're going to take our pork chop, a fantastic piece of meat, really underrated is the pork, and something different here to do with your pork chop and a little bit of streaky bacon. Just ask your local butcher for both. I'm going to cut our pork chop right down the centre, keeping the fat on here. Cut it into a nice dice, like so. Okay, and we're going to get about 10 pieces from this. So we're going to take our streaky bacon, we're going to wrap it around, neatly around that pork chop, and remember now you're only using half your pork chop, and with the second piece of streaky bacon we're going to do the exact same, and it's going to create what I call lovely little rosettes. And take a little cocktail stick, okay, and just where the bacon meets, I want you to secure the cocktail stick the whole way through that, and that's just going to hold our meat together. Now you can do these in the early afternoon and have them prepped up. They're actually great to have prepared in advance. Straight through there with the second one, and there's two lovely little rosettes. Now these are going to cook up superbly. You're going to get the crustiness of the natural salty bacon right around and the tenderization of that pork inside, and it's something different to do with your pork chop, and it's adding a lot more economic value to it as well. So we're simply just going to pan fry these pork rosettes now. So we're going to dry heat our pan, a good thick based bottom pan here again, just to get that heat in there. And I'm going to add to that just 1 tablespoon of good quality Donegal rapeseed oil. And just let that heat gently. And then you're going to place your rosettes, like so, without moving them. Nice sizzling going on here, nice sound. Swivel that oil in and around them. And just let them gently cook, to seal in the nutrition, the flavour, the juices. Let them caramelise up lovely, and just watch the bacon getting lovely and crispy here. So leave them for a couple of minutes, and in the meantime, just with the raw meat, clean down your board, clean your hands and your knife. So now while your pork's on there, starting to sizzle, starting to cook, you'll hear it going on to the side of you. I'm going to take a lovely pink lady apple. I just love the sweetness of a pink lady apple. Keeping the skin on, I've just washed it. And I'm going to dice half this apple, because we know that apple and pork are just a marriage. And it's lovely because the acidicness helps cut through the fattiness of the pork in particular. I'm going to quarter that, remove the core, okay, and I'm going to cut that into a lovely nice dice. So cut it in 3 initially, and across into nice bite-sized pieces, and just leave them to the side with the other quarter. And that's half of an apple. That's quite a large apple. And then I've gone with some diced up onion, some diced mushroom, and some crushed garlic. And I'm going to use a little bit of whiskey just to flame this up to give that lovely Irishness to it. Okay, so there's our pork. I haven't seasoned it deliberately until I turn it over. Now look at that. Look at that lovely caramelization we're getting there. And now that I've turned these over, now I'm going to season these. Okay, a little bit of cracked black pepper. There's enough saltiness going in the wet cure of the bacon and with the pork, so there's no need for saltiness. A lovely grind of your fresh black pepper. And now what I've done is I've taken a tray and I've preheated a tray in my oven, because we never transfer hot food to a cold tray. And once these are sealed on this side, I'm going to transfer these to the tray, and I'm going to capture those juices that are left in the pan to finish out my sauce. So there's our hot tray coming from the oven. Listen, you need to hear that. It needs to continue the cooking and not to cool that down. And we're going to transfer these now to the oven for about 8 minutes. And with pork you want to cook it through thoroughly, but not too dry. Retain some of them juices, and we'll do that by the sealing in, which we've done here. Okay, now this is the key thing here with this sauce. Don't get rid of what's in here. This is fantastic. You cannot buy this. This is the sediment, this is the flavour, this is key to the sauce for me. And in goes our garlic, about a clove, which is optional, but I love the garlic background flavour. our finely chopped onion, our sliced mushrooms, and again the onion, the mushroom that's in there is just going to absorb up the juices there, add a little bit of colour to this sauce quite simply to make a fantastic whiskey and apple and mushroom sauce. So what we're going to do, we're going to take our whiskey, so the lovely Irish whiskey, we're going to add this to the pan now in about 30 seconds time when we get that colour into the onion and mushroom, and we're going to flame this up just to take the kick of the sting and the alcohol out of this and leave behind that lovely oaty barley flavour. Okay, so now you see we've got that lovely brownness. The juices have all absorbed into the onions, into the mushrooms. It's packed full of flavour now, natural coming from the meat. And while the pork is in the oven, cooking away, to that now we're going to add a good generous shot of Irish whiskey to that, and we're going to flame that up. So again, naked flame with the gas and ignite it. It'll last about 5-6 seconds. If you've got an electric hob at home, just ignite it using one of those igniters when the whiskey goes in, and you'll have the exact same effect. So we're ready. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's great. It's great cooking at home. You have the fan above you and it'll take in that heat. And now what you're left with is the fantastic flavour again gone into the onions, the mushroom and the garlic. So to that I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock, just enough to coat the base of that pan quite comfortably. Make sure it's hot. It won't slow down your cooking, and we're going to allow that just to reduce for about 3 to 4 minutes now, and we're going to finish that off with a little combination of both creme fraiche to be healthy and a little bit of cream to stop it from splitting there. And then I'm going to drop in my nice apple pieces, red sweet apple with the skin on, and a little bit of chopped parsley at the end of this. So now that you've reduced your stock, lovely, we're going to add into that our lovely chunks of apple. And that's going to hold that together, so you're getting like an apple sauce in there, and it's a lovely natural fresh apple flavour. And now goes our nice thick creme fraiche along with our cream into that. Just to finish that out, we're going to let that cook, and it's going to get lovely and warm, a lovely colour going into that just in the next 30 seconds to a minute. Now in the meantime, what you can do with the other half of your apple that you have left, just get a dry pan and put it onto the heat there. We're going to cut that into a lovely slice. We're going to need 2 slices for what we're going to do. And to that we're going to drop in the tiniest little pinch of our rapeseed oil. And we're simply going to caramelise a little bit of apple. This is so simple to do, and it gives lovely effect and a lovely garnish to your dish like this at home. This will be great for a little dinner party if you're having it at home. So in it goes, a little bit of heat, lovely and gentle. Okay, we're going to let that cook just for a minute or two while we're finishing off our sauce, while we're waiting on our pork to cook in the oven. And to that I'm going to add a lovely sprinkle of sugar. I'm using a light brown sugar, and that's going to caramelise that up absolutely beautifully. There we go. So we're going to warm up our plate. Just move that to a bigger heat, just to speed that up. And I'm going to warm up my plate in the oven. And now I'm going to take out my pork, and look, that is hardly moved but cooked thoroughly through. There's your nice wee pieces gelled together. The crispiness of that bacon is absolutely superb. Sauce is coming along lovely. You've got your apple which is starting to caramelise. Our plate is warm, and that's all you need to serve that up in my view. It's absolutely perfect. Just to finish off the sauce, we're going to go with a little bit of fresh parsley. So pick the stem off the top of your parsley. And it's so easy to grow parsley homegrown. It's absolutely brilliant. It's always there when you need it if you're growing it. So I'm going to chop that up. And again, it's just, parsley is one of those lovely fresh herbs just to go in at the end of cooking. Lovely and light. And be careful now just not to let that sauce boil too much. We're keeping it very, very simple. Lovely flavour of apples, lovely flavour of mushrooms. We want the whiskey to come in the background, and the nice acidicness coming from our apples. So again, we've got sweet and sour going on, we've got natural saltiness going on, we've all our taste buds there, so we'll have a relatively fantastic tasting dish. Okay, just with our apple, just flick that over, and on there with a little bit, second little coating of your light brown sugar, onto there, caramelise that, and in effect what I'm doing here is I'm making a natural applesauce. I'm not a big fan of the convenient applesauces when you can make it so simply. And again, the citricness coming from that apple is going to cut through the fattiness of the pork. And there's our warm plate. So what I'm going to do here, always remember to remove the cocktail sticks. We're going to take away that second one. There we go. And we're going to place one portion on the bottom. I'm going to serve my apple. Look at that now. Beautiful caramelized apple. That's just so beautiful, and it smells fantastic. We're going to put that in the middle. We're going to put a lovely second piece of our pork, and that's very little skill. It's a couple of simple ingredients there. And lastly, our last piece of our caramelized apple, just served slightly to the side of that, and we're going to drizzle our sauce just around that. And again, not over the top of it. I just want the apple, the parsley, the whiskey, the cream, just to go around that. Perfect served with a little bit of boiled rice. Some new potatoes are fantastic. A jacket baked potato, excellent with that. Some crusty bread with it. It's absolutely perfect. A little bit of chopped parsley on it at the end. Now look at that. That is fantastic restaurant food done in your home, supplied by your local butcher. Fantastic pork with streaky bacon, an Irish whiskey, apple and a mushroom sauce. Absolutely gorgeous.